Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you my reading wrap up for the month of March, which was my preparation month for the Magical Readathon. So I think I did a good bit of reading. I am actually very happy with the books that I've read. So let's talk about them. Now, before we get into the individual book reviews, I want to talk quickly about some stats that I always mention at the beginning of my wrap-up videos. And these stats are for my goal of reaching a 0 TBR this year, so we will check how my progress with that has been in March. Okay, so let's quickly recap some numbers. I started out the year with 37 books on my physical TBR. Now, if you've watched my channel, I had my birthday, I added to the TBR, the number went up. And so I started March with 46 books on my TBR. So let's see whether I got that number down. The first important number for that is my books that I've read. And in March, I managed to finish 7 books. So that's quite good. That is quite average for me for a month. Then in March, I bought one book, which was an audiobook I listened to immediately. And I also borrowed a book that I actually ended up reading. Last but not least, I had one reread in March, so that actually does not reduce my TBR. So if we take this all together, 7 books read, 1 book bought, 1 book borrowed, and 1 reread, we have the final number. I have reduced my TBR in March by 4 books, which is good, which is very good. That is actually a number that I didn't really reach last year very often, so 4 minus 4, very, very good. Tap on the back. I did really well. So we're now leaving March with 42 books on the TBR. We're very, very close to getting it under 40 again, which makes me very excited. So next we're gonna talk about the books that I finished. I will give you individual book reviews and we'll go through all 7. Now, the first book I finished was actually right at the beginning of the month, and that was Nightcrawling by Leila Mottley. This is a kind of literary fiction, contemporary fiction book where we follow a young woman. She's still a teenager. I think she's 17 when we start following her story, and she lives in very dire circumstances. She is very poor. She's living together with her brother. The parents are gone, and the brother isn't really taking good care of her, so she is basically trying to bring in money to pay the rent, to get groceries and all of that, and the brother is not helping with that at all. Meanwhile, in the neighboring flat in their apartment building, there is a woman who is addicted to drugs, and she has a small son. So our main character is also trying to take care of the son because his mother can't really do that in like the way that she would need to do it. We look at all of that. We look at the way that she is kind of stuck in this life. She doesn't really know what to do and how to protect the people that she loves and how to pay for the things that she needs to survive. And so there is like one encounter that makes her stumble into sex work. And this book really explores the way that the illegality of sex work is what makes it so easy to exploit women, to exploit girls. This is a very harrowing read. It's definitely not enjoyable to read. Meanwhile, I think this novel also managed to find like the light to really show the deep love and care that the main character has for the people in her life. And because of that, it had the balance. It wasn't all bleak and tragic. She still had a lot of agency. She still made her own choices. And I think it just struck that balance really, really well. And so I decided to give it 5 stars. This was also my first 5-star read of the year. Then the next book I finished was an audiobook, and that was Blacktop, Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. I have a full reading vlog just for that book, which I can link, so if you want to hear all of my thoughts, you can go and check it out. This is a very interesting book, definitely a bit different for me, because first of all, it is a thriller, and I don't read a lot of thrillers. This is more of a heist story, and we follow a man who has been previously in his life a getaway car driver, and he is like really good with driving, with cars. He's now a mechanic. He has his own shop and he's struggling. He has a wife and 2 small sons and also a teenage daughter with a different woman, and he's trying to take care of all of them. But he also has a mother who is in a nursing home, and money is just tight. It's like very, very tight. They don't have enough of it. And so he gets slowly dragged back into this illegal life. And just because like a lot of stuff comes together to make it like interesting to him to do this like one big heist that will mean that he can take care of his family for the rest of time. So things don't go as planned. And I'll just end it here. I love this book. This was absolutely amazing. I love fast cars, so that was definitely something that's right up my alley. I do enjoy a good heist story. This is more of a heist where you don't see a lot of the planning. You just see kind of how it all goes down, which I think kept it more exciting because there could be like surprises when stuff happened. But if you like the getting the crew together, planning the heist kind of stories, I think this would be a little bit disappointing in that regard. But it definitely felt more realistic. It definitely showed that this is not an easy life and this is not a nice life, and people around you won't be nice to you if you live that kind of life. So yeah, absolutely adored the story, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Then the next book I finished was Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. This is also kind of a thriller or like mystery story, but it is connected to kind of like a family drama. I had enjoyed the first book by this author, so I wanted to try her second novel as well. And in this one, I found that while there were aspects I really enjoyed, it didn't quite work for me, unfortunately. In this book, we follow a family with 3 children. There is a set of twins who are now college age, and there is a teenage son who is on the autism spectrum, and he also has something, I think it's called like Engelmann syndrome, something like that. I'm not very good with like English names for illnesses and stuff like that, but basically the teenage brother needs a lot of care, and so the father is the full-time caretaker of the son and the family in general, and the mother has a full-time job and brings in the money. And in this setup, basically, they live during the pandemic, so all of the kids are currently home and studying from home, and the one twin, the guy twin, he has a job outside of the home, and the mother also has kind of like a opportunity to work in an office outside of the home. So basically the people who are always home is the father, the teenage son, and the twin girl, who is our main character. And one day the father and the teenage son go out for their morning walk, but only the teenage son comes back, and the daughter of the family is kind of the only one who's home. And this spins into this like question of what happened to the father. The only person who could really know is the teenage son, but he doesn't speak, so he can't really tell them what has happened. As I said, this is like a mystery but also a family drama. It definitely views like the criminal justice system in the US, also the way police work, how they're not really equipped to work with people who have like mental illnesses or disabilities and stuff like that, the terrible things that can happen because of it. It's very, very interesting. This also has a theme of kind of like migrant family, because the mother, I'm not sure anymore. I think the mother, like one parent is white and one parent is Asian American, but I don't remember the exact constellations. I think the mother is Asian American. It has this theme as well of like anti-Asian racism in the United States and all of that. So there's a lot going on with this. The part I didn't love was the writing style. We read this kind of as the diary of the daughter of the family, so we are restricted to her point of view, which I found a little bit limited, and I would have liked to see perspectives from the other family members as well. What I did really enjoy is that this brought in a lot of like psychological concepts to explain why certain things are happening, especially certain biases that influence how we process information and how that leads to like wrong outcomes when we think about stuff. So next we're getting to some physical reads because I read the Cybernatic Tea Shop by Meredith Katz. I got this from my booktube friend Katz, so thank you very much again. This was a lovely little read. This is a cozy sci-fi story where we follow two characters who meet in a tea shop. One of them is a AI repair technician, and the other one is actually a robot. And in this world, the kind of technology that made robots like almost like their own people has been banned. So now only the robots remain that are like hundreds of years old. So that's one of our characters. And this is a lot about grief, about kind of trying to take the next step of letting go, of making your own way. So there's a lot of discussion in this kind of direction. This is very cozy because it's literally these two characters kind of coming together, finding each other, and a tea shop. It still deals with heavy topics. It's very short, so my main criticism is that I wanted this to be longer, and I especially wanted this to explore the kind of hate against these robots even more, and to see how this all plays out and why people hate robots so much. So in the end, I gave this one 3.5 stars. Then I finished a book called Love Saves the Day by Gwen. I have the German translation here. I read this for the vlog where I read the ugliest books on my physical TBR, which is mean, but like honestly, this cover is just not for me. I got this book as a gift, and so I decided to read it. It has a cat, so I thought, you can't really go wrong with a book about cats, right? This proved me wrong. I did not like this book. So in this one, we follow a cat called Prudence, and at the beginning of the story, Prudence lives with an older lady, but one day the older lady doesn't come home, and we as a reader understand that she has passed away, and then a couple of days later, the daughter of the older woman shows up and takes Prudence to her home, and now Prudence has to become part of that new family, basically. Then we have the family story where we have the daughter and her husband. They married very quickly and now face the first like challenging times of their marriage. And it's a question of like, will they survive this or will they fall apart? Don't care. Like married people problems, not for me. And then last but not least, we also have the story of the mother and the daughter and why they kind of hated each other in a way, what happened to them. And that is also a story of like poor people who have no rights and how they were treated in New York City. So this is very much a New York City book. It's kind of a cat book, but I hated the people in this. And I almost also hated the cat in this. So if I'm completely honest with you, I would say stay away from this one. There is so many cat books out there nowadays. This also is quite dated. And the German translation also has a lot of like really outdated, harmful terms, even though you can read from the text that these people are not meant to be called names or anything. It still uses like really outdated terms. So would not recommend. This was not good. So I gave it 2 stars. I also just realized I skipped over one book, and that was The Hobbit by JRR Tolkien. I finished my reread of this. I was rereading this basically for the whole like first quarter of the year, just reading a chapter here and there whenever I needed it. And it was lovely. I love The Hobbit. I love The Lord of the Rings. It's so nostalgic for me. And yeah, this was great. This was also my first time reading it in English. And I have this like beautiful edition. And I love it. So I gave this 4.5 stars on Reread Again. So now technically we have one more book to talk about, and that was my big audiobook project for the month, and that was Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, the third book in the Tawnyman trilogy. Now this is the 9th book in the realm of the Elderlings, so I can't really talk much about this book at all. Basically, in the realm of the Elderlings, one of the main characters we follow is Fitz, and this third trilogy does follow Fitz again, and also some other people we've met in the first trilogy, the Farseer world. This is a world that is very large, has like very diverse like characters, magic, all of that. It was just fantastic. This is my favorite book of the series so far. I gave it 5 stars. I think we got a lot in this book that at least I have been waiting for a long time. So I really appreciated that. And yeah, it was just heartbreaking. I cried, I loved, I was amazed. I cried some more. I would definitely recommend The Realm of the Elderlings if you haven't picked it up already. And the next book, if everything goes to plan, is my vlog for Tawnyman. So subscribe if you want to see that with all of my thoughts, all of the spoilers as well. Like I have separate parts for like spoiler free and spoilers. So yeah, can't wait to share that with you. However, I want to throw in one last book before I let you go. I finished this on the 1st of April, and I'm just going to mention it here because I will have probably forgotten most of it before I film the next wrap up. So that will be Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Again, I had read the first book by this author, really enjoyed it, so I wanted to read her second novel as well. And this has been on my TBR for quite a while. I also got this as a gift during a Secret Santa. So again, thank you to the Secret Santa who gave this to me a couple of years ago. And this one, we are following a girl called Elizabeth. She grew up in a magical library where magical grimoires are locked away because they're very dangerous and in the wrong hands could like do great harm. So basically these libraries protect the grimoires from the world, but also the world from the grimoires. And Elizabeth's dream has always been to become a warden of the library. However, at the start of the book, she gets accused of doing something very terrible, and because of that is forced to leave the library, and she is then trying to fight her way back to figure out who is like blaming her for all of this, who's responsible. And yeah, that's basically what we follow. Along the way, she meets a sorcerer called Nathaniel and his demon Silas, and together they try to figure out what the hell's going on in this world. I had a really good time with it. This was a fun YA fantasy romp. I did enjoy the romance. I think that it is a more minor kind of part of the plot, like a subplot in this book, so I really enjoyed that. I think that Elizabeth is a very like headstrong main character that I loved following around. She can be a little bit silly, which I like. Also, I really enjoyed the way this dealt with the tropes of the romance, and especially the love interest, the way he was so moody and gloomy, and it kind of like turned it on its head in some moments, which made it really cute and funny. He also calls her a menace, which is what I call my cat as a kind of pet name. So yeah, me and Nathaniel both. So yeah, this was great. I had a great time with it. Would definitely recommend if you like these kind of more fun fantasy stories. I wish we would have gotten a few more answers by the end about how this world came to be and why it is the way it is. I know that this has a sequel novella, I think, so I might check that out at some point, but I don't really think that that will give me the kind of answers I was hoping for in this one. And with that, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Leave a like and a nice comment. It really helps me out and I appreciate it a lot. You can let me know what was your favorite book that you've read in March. I would love to hear about it. Also, we're going now into Magical Readathon month, which is the best time. I'm so hyped for my TBR. So please feel free to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on my Magical Readathon vlogs and wrap up. That will all be coming up in April, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!